Winter is a season where invertebrates in northern climates, such as insects, arachnids, and others, must find a solution to wait it out. Food becomes scarce, but the most significant threat toward invertebrates is the freezing temperatures associated with winter. Since invertebrates cannot produce their own body heat, they must find a way to avoid or tolerate freezing. Insects have found many ways to overcome this challenge. Many insects simply freeze solid thanks to cryoprotectant chemicals they produce in their body. Aquatic species can remain active under the ice of frozen ponds, creeks, and other bodies of water. A few species have taken up migration as an overwintering strategy. The most notable example is the monarch butterfly. The life stage that insects overwinter in varies between the many different species. A lot of insects overwinter in the egg stage, where the adults lay their eggs and die before winter. Others overwinter as larvae, pupae, and even as adults. The shelter surrounding an overwintering insect is known as a hibernaculum, or hibernacula in plural. Most overwintering insects are not easily visible during the winter, because they hide in crevices such as under bark, rocks, and among organic debris. The snowpack hides anything that's on or below ground. Some insect hibernacula are visible all through winter and can make for a fun scavenger hunt activity to do during the freezing months. Some examples of insects to look out for during the winter include gall makers, moth cocoons, and egg masses. When eggs are laid that are not intended to hatch until the following spring, they are in a state known as diapause. In diapause, they first require a period of cold dormancy before embryonic development begins. Praying mantises such as the European mantis lay their egg cases, called oothecae, on vegetation where they overwinter and hatch in late spring. Toward the end of the year, adults pass away within the first frosts of fall. Their oothecae persist for around 8 to 9 months before they hatch in early June. Oothecae are brown with a foam-like texture. They are usually laid on grassland vegetation, such as on grasses and on the stems of wildflowers, but they're also often laid on man-made structures, such as metal stakes, landscape fabric, and posts. Some moths overwinter as eggs, too. The native tent caterpillars that feed on hardwood trees and shrubs overwinter as eggs. Adults encircle a twig of their host with the eggs in a mass that hardens and provides them with protection. The non-native invasive gypsy moth is a species that feeds on a wide variety of different species of trees, with oak being their favorite. These moths go through boom and bust cycles where they can totally defoliate trees during years of high numbers. Many native and introduced species help maintain the population. Surviving adults mate and lay eggs from July to August. The egg masses are brown and soft in texture and are usually laid on the tree trunks, but are also commonly laid on other hard surfaces. Some larvae, such as those of the Isabella tiger moth and admiral butterfly, overwinter as larvae. The larvae of the Isabella tiger moth are known as banded woolly bear caterpillars. They are a well-known caterpillar and are often seen crossing paths in late summer through fall. They overwinter in the leaf litter and under woody debris. Admiral butterflies, including the white admiral, red-spotted purple, and the viceroy, overwinter in the shelter of a rolled leaf that they secure to a twig. The gall makers overwinter in the larval stage as well. For example, the conspicuous round galls on goldenrod stems house the larvae of a species of peacock fly. The pupal stage is a stage that many species of butterflies and moth overwinter in. Members of the sphinx moth family burrow into the soil and pupate in a chamber underground. Some tiger moths, such as the Virginia tiger moth, pupate in a crevice after using its hairs to form a cocoon around itself. Others, like the Luna moth, pupate in the leaf litter, using silk to wrap leaves around its cocoon to further improve its camouflage. Swallowtail, sulfur, and white butterflies overwinter as chrysalids. Some kinds of moths and butterflies pupate well above the ground, where they may remain all winter. These ones can be noticeable in winter, where people happen to see them by chance or search for them. The Sucropia moth is the largest moth in Canada and the United States. Adults have a wingspan of around 6 inches and are adorned with reddish-colored patterns and eye spots. The mature caterpillars are green with colorful spiky protuberances of red, yellow, and blue along their body. They spin a silken cocoon before pupating. The cocoon is large, brown, and spindle-shaped, tapering at both ends. They persist on woody vegetation all through winter and can be found from inches off the ground to eye level and higher. The wandering mature caterpillar may pupate some distance from the host plant. The Promethia silk moth is another large moth. The males and females are sexually dimorphic. The females are brown with a similar pattern to the Sucropia, whereas the males are almost black. The caterpillars get large and have protuberances on the front and rear of their body that are not spiky. The cocoon is smaller and distinctly narrow, hanging like a basket from a branch. The mature caterpillar secures the petiole of a leaf to the branch using silk before incorporating the leaf into the structure of its cocoon. This makes it so the cocoon remains suspended through the winter, hanging like an earring. More than one cocoon can be found together. Some butterfly species, such as the mourning cloak, overwinter as adults in crevices and behind bark. It is a large butterfly with dark brown wings with blue spots and a cream-colored border. Angle-wing butterflies, such as the eastern comma, are known for this ability too. The widely known monarch butterfly is famous for its migratory fourth generation, where they congregate on sacred fir in the mountains of Mexico to spend the winter. As spring arrives, the monarchs rouse and migrate to the southern states to begin the first generation and the species' northward trip. The examples I provided are only a few of the insect species present in the winter landscape. What species of insects will you find?